I want everybody's. U.S. Border Patrol. This is not the border. Go to the Canada border or the Mexico border. I'm working, dude.
If you were from this country,
What do you mean if I'm from this country?
I can hear you don't have the same accent as me. That's why I'm.
Oh, so you go by accents now?
I want to know
is that what it is?
Where were you born?
Is that accents? Have you heard the Israeli accent? Have you heard the European accent?
You just
it's
proved
garbage.
My point. You're a
it's retarded.
You just proved my point.
You go by accents?
You just proved other countries.
You guys want to argue? I got time. I got time today.
You're not arguing. You're proving my point.
Today, man.
Thank you, sir.
You guys do whatever you want to do.
Yes, where's your ID, sir?
I'm not going to show you. I don't have to show you anything. If I'm a police officer comes here, I'll comply with it. But U.S. Border Patrol, I don't even know if you're a real police officer. Where's your ID?
But you just said it.
Where's your ID?
You just said it.
And I'm not going to go by C20. That's a periodic chemical. That's a periodic element. C20? What are you, carbon 20? Bill C20.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mimi Show.
Want to see what the faces of terror look like in an upload to change.the.system on TikTok? Donald Trump is facing a revolt in the Senate right now, and it is why he needs Congress shut down by Mike Johnson. Now, this isn't a revolt because Republicans grew a spine or that they care that 2 Americans have been murdered in the streets of Minneapolis in the last 3 weeks. It's because they understand.
For Renee Nicole Good and for on the show we have been put.
Woo! There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Let's see. Welcome to the Mimi Show, not the Mimi Show today. It is the Ice Show. Let's talk about it. Now, it sounds like some stuff is happening. You know?
That keep me up at night. Mess. Meghan Markle disrespected her husband and the royal family by making a mockery of Princess Diana's death. Kim Kardashian,
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Looked more like Kris Jenner. Johnny Depp was
Okay. Just checking on the. Whoa.
On the show, we have been pushing for the Democratic Party in America to have a spine and use real leverage. Well, today, Democrats are unifying around one message. Get ICE out of Minneapolis, get accountability for Renee Nicole Good and for Alex Preddy, and stop the funding of more ICE operations. And Democrats are signaling something new. Finally, they are willing to use real leverage to get this done. They are willing to block the appropriations bill that is up for a vote on January 31st because it has increased funding for the DHS and for ICE. This would not cause an entire government shutdown like we saw a few months ago. This would only cause a partial government shutdown, but it is metaphorically twisting the arm of this administration to get something that every single American should want. And listen, We've been asking for this for so long. On this show, we always talk about how the Democratic Party is obviously 100,000 times better than the modern Republican Party, which is only a few degrees away from being a full-blown fascistic regime. It essentially is, save a few guardrails that are still in place, like the Eastern District of Virginia, which has blocked multiple of Donald Trump's cases. So there are guardrails. But the point that I'm trying to make is, even though the Republican Party is awful, we have been asking for so long for the Democratic Party to grow a spine, to at least use the leverage they have to stop letting the Republicans walk all over us. Well, now Senate Democrats are coming out in a unified way to say they will not vote to fund ICE without sweeping reforms. And this is a threat that really, truly matters because it puts the government, it puts the Trump administration on the edge. And it puts us on the edge of a partial shutdown that will hit immigration enforcement directly. Donald Trump is currently panicking this morning. And let's start with the post that he sent moments ago. His fix for the problem is to send none other than Tom Homan into Minnesota.
This is Donald Trump's fix, Lisa, on what's been going on and what happened to the gentleman. This is supposed to be his fix. Alaska. Lucky it wasn't somebody you knew that died. Huh? I think I will remove that comment because it insults the gentleman Alex that passed away. It does. It insults him. This has nothing to do with Democrats. Nothing. It does, and it doesn't. It's about time that the Democrats did something. But is this his solution, Lisa? This is Donald Trump's solution.
So while Senate Democrats are deciding whether they're going to shut the government down, whether they're going to even fund the government, Donald Trump's response is this, quote, I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough, but fair, and will report directly to me. Separately, a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare fraud that has taken place in Minnesota, and at least is partially responsible.
There he go with that $20 billion fraud conspiracy theory that Auntie Mickey debunked. What does that got to do with people dying in the streets, Donald Trump? What does that got to do with your ICE agents killing people, unaliving people? I don't get the correlation.
Responsible for the violent organized protests. Of course, he's twisting reality.
Yeah.
The fraud investigation is fine. I mean, this has already been investigated and prosecuted years ago. The investigation is one thing. The surging of federal troops and the murder of multiple U.S. citizens is why people are mad. Jake Sherman points out down here, as the Senate begins to consider how it may fund the government this week, the president is sending Tom Homan to Minnesota.
Sometimes the president isn't home. And it just seemed like he's not home right now. That's exactly true, Lisa. What does that got to do with the other? What does that got to do with the other?
Something that will not give any comfort to Senate Democrats. He then adds, the thing for the White House to know here is that Senate Democrats are going to want and insist on significant policy changes on how the Trump administration conducts interior enforcement. Whether it's Tom Homan or Kristi Noem that gets impeached and removed, whether they're in Minneapolis or whether they're in Washington, it doesn't matter. We want accountability for these actions.
Right.
The odds of a government shutdown on Polymarket has spiked from a 15% chance up to a 78% chance as Democratic representatives and senators are coming out in a unified manner. And here are the asks. You can't just have leverage and not have actual on-the-ground demands, and we have that covered. Congressman Greg Casar says, Senate Democrats say they won't vote for ICE funding without reforms. Good. Now we must negotiate hard. At least 5 demands must be non-negotiable before the bill comes to the House we are going to continue to double down and push for this. If you appreciate the news that we bring, by the way, make sure you subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed. Make sure you drop a like. And here are the 5 demands. Number 1, ICE and the Customs and Border Patrol must leave Minneapolis and stop terrorizing American cities. That is common sense. Yes. 2, we get a full independent investigation into the killings, both of the killings that have happened. And let's add the killing that happened in Texas a few weeks back as well, when someone was strangled to death in an El Paso detention center. 3, no more detaining and deporting U.S. citizens. That shouldn't even be, that should be baked into it. That shouldn't even have to be said. But of course, under this administration, it has to be said. Number 4, the masks come off. Number 5, the mass arrest quotas and warrantless arrests end. I personally think these are some pretty good leverage points. I mean, of course, we want to abolish ICE entirely and reform it into something better, but we don't really fully trust the Trump administration to reform this into a better entity or bring accountability. So we have to likely wait for that. But for now, we do have leverage. And we got news from inside a private Senate Democrat meeting that happened last night. The Democratic meeting had 1, Chuck Schumer saying he has the votes to block the DHS funding bill. The Democratic meeting had number 2, them saying they're going to ask for real investigations into the murders, including an end to impeding the state and local investigations. They have been spiking the state and local investigations into these murders. That's the reason why protests have been growing larger and larger. This was Minneapolis, Minnesota yesterday while they were being snowed out and people still showed up. This is genuinely a pretty stunning turnout for the weather that we see. We see another picture where the turnout just goes all the way down the street yesterday on Sunday, while large portions of America are being iced out, and that's because people are angry. The Trump administration is trying to subvert any sort of responsibility by covering this up, but they are lying to our eyes, and the American people are mad. I've seen a lot of my apolitical friends from high school who are usually just posting like selfies and photos of them and their significant other. They've been posting things on Instagram and Facebook about ICE, saying, get ICE out of Minneapolis. They don't even live in Minneapolis. They just want ICE to go back to wherever the hell they came from. And that's why the Democrats stepping up at this moment is so damn important. You know, norms in a democracy, the unspoken norms that have saved us in this democracy, can't be only upheld by Democrats. Democrats need to use the leverage they have. Norms in a democracy work like consent. You can't have meaningful consent between 2 different parties when only one side is engaging in consent. That is not a consensual relationship. In the same way that you can't have a meaningful democratic society with meaningful norms when only one party, the Democrats, are engaging in the norms. So I'm not saying the Democrats should go full-blown fascist like Trump has. Of course not. But what I am saying is that Democrats need to be willing to go as low as Republicans are in order to gain leverage. Leverage is very, very important in this situation. And what's on the line right now are U.S. lives, U.S. citizens' lives. This specific appropriations bill will increase funding to ICE and the Customs Border Patrol operations. It'll make it easier for them to travel. It'll expand their enforcement operations, and they'll have more discretionary money to spend on discretionary activities. So Democrats finally understand something. This is the pressure point. They need to stand up now or never, quite literally now or never. So as Senate Democrats continue to plot this strategy to stop the DHS, to block Kristi Noem and potentially impeach Kristi Noem, we will continue to protest and make sure our voices are heard. So I just want to wrap this up where we began. Donald Trump's solution to the tensions in Minneapolis is to send none other than Tom Homan, the big ogre troll. Mr. Neuberger points out, someone in the White House actually brainstormed that sending Tom Homan to Minneapolis would somehow represent a fair, respected observer that could calm down tensions there. The guy is just a bloated Stephen Miller with about a foot on Greg Bovino and Kash Patel. And he's honestly dumber than all of them. He's dumber than Stephen Miller. He's obviously not going to have a fair assessment, and this will likely only inflame tensions. What are you going to send Jeffrey Epstein's corpse there as well, Donald Trump? Like what other awful human being are you going to send to Minneapolis to down the tensions? I'm going to leave it there. Let's continue to resist against this regime. I love you all, and peace out.
With 10 Friday, demanding
Let's see what else is going on.
we're going to end with the tens of thousands of people who braved the bitter cold Friday, demanding ICE out of Minnesota. Democracy Now!'s we're going to end with the tens of thousands of people who braved the bitter cold Friday, demanding ICE out of Minnesota. Democracy Now!'s John Hamilton was there.
ICE out! ICE out! ICE out! ICE out!
It was 10 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit when a crowd numbering in the tens of thousands marched through downtown Minneapolis Friday afternoon, calling on ICE to get out of Minnesota. It was the largest single day of action so far in the ongoing standoff between local community and the Trump administration since ICE, Border Patrol, and other federal agents, now numbering around 3,000, descended on Minnesota for Operation Metro Surge several weeks ago, bringing chaos, fear, and violence.
My name is Jenna Sherrick. I'm a local Minnesotan who grew up here my whole life. What's going around is not okay, and we all need to be here to make a difference and say it's not okay. When cruelty becomes reality, compassion becomes radical.
Sarah Shea. I'm a Minnesotan, and I'm here to support our Inuit neighbors and our friends and families and people who are not deserving what's going on right now. It's outrageous. We're frustrated. We're angry. We're everything, and we should all be out here supporting our neighbors and getting ICE out of our city. ICE out, and we protect us, because right now that is all us. It's all community. We are the only ones out here doing it for each other.
Standing back and not doing anything doesn't help with, the situation. Everybody's scared. So we need to speak out.
The day of action was organized by clergy and labor leaders under the banner ICE Out, a day of truth and freedom. The Minnesota AFL-CIO, representing over 1,000 unions across the state, endorsed the march, as well as many others. John Royce is an English teacher with the Minnesota Federation of Educators.
And we are here to shut it all down. All of us teachers from Minneapolis to St. Paul, from all the way up from Duluth down to Rochester, we are all here in the middle of Minneapolis to shut it all down for our students and their families and ICE out of our communities. Every teacher has so many stories right now, but last week I had a student who joined online during class, and in the middle of my lesson, I teach English, the student messaged me and said, ICE is outside of my house right now. What do I do? And I stopped class right away. All the students heard what happened. And, thank God his neighbors were out there outside of his house, and they chased ICE out of their neighborhood. Those agents had been circling his house all morning. And, I think it's really telling of our community, of our neighborhoods, how we've organized, and how we are out there defending one another, including my student, who, thank God, he's safe.
Oh, Minnesota!
Fear is so tangible. This is our last option. We need to shut it all down. And so I am calling on every educator in this state, in this country, to shut it down with Minneapolis, with St. Paul. You need to shut it all down with us, because if we do not shut it down right now, your city is next. And we do not want that to happen. We want to protect our students.
Your city's next. Your city is next. Coming to a town near you soon, and very, very soon, is ICE. And not the ice on the street. They're coming. Alaska, they're coming. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. They're coming.
We want our students back in schools, and the way we are going to get it is by shutting it down to get ICE the hell out of here.
Among those protesting were members of the Hmong American community, like Julie, whose family came to the United States decades ago as refugees after working alongside the U.S. in its secret war in Laos during the Vietnam War. She held a sign that read Hmong against ICE.
Scary because they don't, regardless if you're a citizen or not, they don't ask, no question asked. They just assume that you're illegal, that you're a criminal. And it's not fair for those of us, people of color. My parents, they're a citizen, but then we all live in fear. I'm a citizen and I still live in fear every single day. And then now my kids are fear of, going to school because they have heard of stories of kids getting detained. And then my kids, they're scared of going to school. We was promised safety. We was promised that, we'll get the freedom. But yet today's world, we are seeing that, it's getting revoked. Like the United States are taking back the words. And the question is, why? Why is it getting revoked? Why are we now being targeted as, aliens, criminals? Some of us took off work, no school, no shopping, so we're all out here against ICE.
As demonstrators in the streets shut down parts of the Twin Cities, more than 700 businesses across the state closed their doors for what some called an economic blackout or general strike. Insight Brewing in Minneapolis was closed for business but stayed open for neighbors participating in the day of action. This is marketing manager Joey Steinbach.
We are a space for our community, and our community is hurting right now. And the best way that we can help out is just direct to family donations. We've got a bunch of volunteers that are absolutely stellar. Outside of that, we're just making some signs. We're providing snacks, hand warmers, just being a temporary third space while we're not open for official business.
Corporations that support or work with ICE were also targeted by demonstrators, like at the Minneapolis St. Paul Airport. Where demonstrators gathered to protest deportation flights. The crowd of several hundred held signs that said business as usual doesn't fly and Renee Good was good. Among those who gathered were dozens of faith leaders. They shared stories of airport workers who had been arrested.
Lift up Pedro, a janitor who helped his sister who was unable to work and was detained. No! He decided to self-deport because he could not take the conditions at the detention center in Texas.
The union that represents airport workers reports at least 12 members have been arrested by ICE. Clergy then joined arms and sang while others knelt and prayed before police surrounded them, and at least 100 were arrested. According to organizers, more than 70,000 people marched in Minneapolis Friday, and several thousand were in attendance at the Target Center for a rally. This is comedian and native Minnesotan marched in Minneapolis Friday. According to organizers, more than 70,000 people marched in Minneapolis Friday, and several
70,000 people. Yeah, just wait until they come in your backyard, Alaska. Wait till they come to your neighborhood while you talking all that stuff. They're going to come knocking on your very door. Alaska, you're an illegal. Get your ass out of here. You look like them. You might have went and got a tan today or something. Oopsie daisy. Keep thinking you're exempt from the wrath of this president. These same Minnesotans didn't think that our own president would allow this to go down. But he does. This is his circus. This is his show. They got it on, look, they got it. Eric, they got it at the game. Ice out of Minnesota. Are they playing in Minnesota? They said ice out at the arena.
Thousand were in attendance at the Target Center for a rally. This is comedian and native Minnesotan Liz Winstead.
And the untold thousands that are in this Sport Bowl facility, I am proud to call you neighbors. I do have to point out that we are in the Target Center, which may seem ironic. But remember, the Target Center is something our tax dollars pay for. So chant it with me. Whose stadium? Whose stadium? We are many. We are many.
The venue is named after the retail giant based in Minnesota that activists have criticized for permitting ICE to operate on their property and to arrest employees without warrants.
And when today is over, let's commit to shopping at the businesses that stood with us and make sure they can make it through these tough times, because the silence from the corporations in this state is deafening.
Speaking at the rally, faith and labor leaders urged Minnesotans to continue to stand together. This is CWA President Claude Cummings.
We stand in defiance of a wannabe dictator, and we will rise against the corporations and Trump's billionaire buddies quietly funding his campaign to shred the Constitution. Political scientists and historians tell us when countries have successfully prevented or reversed authoritarian control, unions have played an important role in stopping it. How do we do that? We stand shoulder to shoulder with our union siblings and with allies across the country. We do that when we join together and focus our attention directly on the corporations that enable fascism. Our unity across communities, organizations, and unions is our power. And whatever we do, we must do it together.
And they spoke of neighbors who had been lost to ICE violence. This is Rabbi Ariel Lekach Rosenberg.
I want to lift up the names of two neighbors. Victor Manuel Diaz, abducted from his workplace in Minnesota on January 6th, who died in ICE custody in Texas on January 14th.
Wow.
I want to lift up the name of Renee Macklin Good, queer poet, wife, parent, murdered in South Minneapolis by ICE on January 7th while observing an abduction in her neighborhood. May their memories be for blessing. May their families be comforted and surrounded in love.
The next day, another Minnesotan would be killed, Alex Jeffrey Preety. For Democracy Now!, this is John Hamilton in Minneapolis.
Voices from Friday's massive protest and rally in Minnesota's unions and churches led an economic blackout to protest ICE. Special thanks to John Hamilton and Sam Alcoff.
Want to see what the faces of terror look like? In an upload to change.the.system on TikTok, the account utilized publicly available info that has been compiled by the fine folks at icelist.is, showing the faces of many ICE agents who sacrificed their morals, dignity, for some their manliness, in an effort to turn this country into a fascist wet dream. These are your modern day Gestapo members. These are your abductors. These are the people who hate you, hate your neighbors, hate your family, hate your community, hate that you look black, hate that you look brown, hate that you look Asian, hate you for being the beautiful soul that you are.
Show me your face. How fucking are you? This scumbag. Happy Christmas, pig. You're here to steal kids from their parents. You're here to steal fucking human beings. You scumbag. You piece of shit scumbag. How dare you? You serve this country. You should take that flag off your badge, you piece of shit. When you go home and celebrate Christmas, know that Jesus thinks you're a piece of shit. You scumbag. You dirty piece of shit.
Yeah, I
You
switched
dirty,
over to a
dirty
different
piece of
live.
shit.
Snow
You,
Drop.
sir, are betraying the oaths to the Constitution that you swore. You are following unlawful, evil orders. Look at this. Is that a felon? No, it's not. This is Christmas, right? And you're going to go home and celebrate Christmas like a hypocrite. Remember that you're the one who would kidnap baby Jesus.
Like this from the uploader. ICE is once again terrorizing school drop-off. They kidnapped a father dropping his middle school age kids off at George Middle School. They then sprayed the neighbors and neighborhood with pepper balls, laughed at and mocked the crowd, asking them to let those babies go to school in peace. With that said, we'll be opening at 4 p.m. today so that we can stand guard at the schools for pickup.
The guy you go to top. Yes. He's like that. Down in the middle. He's a cop. You got arrested for the cop? He's a cop. He's a police officer. The first 5 times before. He's that.
Donald Trump is facing a revolt in the Senate right now, and it is why he needs Congress shut down by Mike Johnson. Now, this isn't a revolt because Republicans grew a spine or that they care that 2 Americans have been murdered in the streets of Minneapolis in the last 3 weeks. It's because they understand the political reality of this moment. They understand that Kristi Noem is a screw-up and a criminal, and they understand that every time she goes on television, it hurts them. It's why you hear Republicans talking about the PR problems that they're facing down.
All right, guys, that's all that's going on with ICE right now. Look like the Senate is up in a wicker war, which they should be. And hopefully, ICE gets out of Minnesota. You know, like for real, get out of Minnesota. You don't belong there. You don't supposed to be there. You shouldn't be there. You're terrorizing these people, and it's the citizens of Minnesota, and it's a disgrace. Get out. ICE out. And not just Minnesota, every city and state. Get out. You're terrorizing us. You're terrorizing the neighborhoods. You're terrorizing us. It's disgusting. Get out. You got little kids and moms and dads scared to send their kids to school because the color of their skin. Let me say that again. Parents are scared to send their kids to school because of the color of their skin. You shouldn't have to worry. Your skin color shouldn't have to reflect that. Your skin color shouldn't be, oh, if you're a certain type of skin color, you don't belong. That's what it's saying. That's what the conversation is about. If you're the wrong color, we can come up and harass you. If you don't sound like you're from here, we can harass you. It's really, really bad. And until something happens to those that see, they won't ever see. But I find them miserable anyway. I find people that think that this is okay, that think that this is, you know, oh, this is fine, that they're miserable within themselves. You have to be. You have to be. And it's a shame. Sorry to put that on you, but it's a shame. Guys, I had fun today. This was a great chit chat. Not long at all. I just got off of a live. That's right, Lisa. Let me let it in on a little secret. Maybe somebody can get this back to Maggot. Don't play my content and don't play my music or I will strike you. You have been warned. If you play my music and if you play my voice, I'm going to strike you. I know you miss me and all and wish that, you know, we were still friends. I know that you have an obsession about me. She does. And it's sickening. It's really becoming, I know how Danny feels. It's an icky feeling. You're right. You're right, Lisa. Oh, yes, it does, Alaska. If you are the wrong color, you are subject to be thrown in a car and taken down to a detention center. That is a fact. Yes, she's a loony bin. She's a Looney Tune. She is. She's a loony. She's obsessed. It's nasty. It's disgusting. It's revolting. It's like I hate when she calls my name. It's like, don't say it. And then when she sings my song, it just makes my skin crawl. Oh, let me see. What is that? That's cute. That's cute. You want a coconut? So what else you guys got going on today? Nothing? What are you eating today? I just had some quiche. Yeah, it was really good. That is true, Michelle Lee. She's very disrespectful. Very disrespectful and nasty. I hate that she knows my name. I hate that we ever met. I hate that I ever knew her. I hate that we ever came into contact with each other. I hate that I had anything to do with her as long as I did. I am ashamed of myself for being her friend as long as I was. It hurts knowing that I was. Yeah. Oh, this car is sliding. Get yourself home and get off the road. Alaska, no, you did not hurt my feelings. No. And there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with them trying to come up with a decent, humane plan to try to figure out what we do with our illegal issue. Instead of treating them barbarically and with disrespect. That's not good. That's not good. Gunning them down and gunning people down in the street is not good. These are innocent people. What we gonna do, Kara? We gonna watch a movie? Yeah, it's just, you know what? Honestly, I wish it would just go away. But it won't. So I do. Yes, just go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Danny Robinson. That's my girl. Go check her out when you get a moment. Interesting contact, interesting dialogue, contacts, just a storyteller. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye, Lisa. Stay warm out there.